What's up, my fellow unkindled? Mostly nerdy here, struggling to beat Dark Souls 3 just like you. So, we are headed to Irithyll Dungeon. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's okay. If you drop down from the stairs straight ahead, there is a rusted gold coin, but I'm not worried about that. So, I'm not going to get it. Um, but there is this enemy tucked away, and the other enemies kind of run away so that you kind of chase them so you can get ambushed or like, surprise, I'm here to kill you. Um, anyway, so first thing we gotta do is get there. Took me a while to figure it out for some reason. I have no idea why. It's pretty easy. But the bonfire we were at is the distant manor one. So if you're trying to figure out which bonfire to travel to, distant manor is the correct option. Um, and we can go back here and kill these enemies because I want to. But you don't have to, obviously. I was kind of thinking that there might be more going on back here. Um, But that corpse does have an item on it. It's a large Titanite shard, which, whatever. So, nothing else going on here. I actually equipped my torch to show you. I actually did it to show myself, but you get to see it. So, it's just walls. I don't think any of them are illusionary walls. Not that one for sure. You're welcome. Um, But yeah, so get back on the main path after picking up your large Titanite shard, and we can head down this path, and then there is a doorway off to the left, and a deceptive little extension this way to nothing. So, waste of time, 2 seconds I'll never get back. Um, But you can come through here, you don't really need your torch. It's literally for like 4 seconds that you can't see that well. And then immediately bonfire. So this is the dungeon bonfire. Um, this area is kind of annoying. There's not a boss exactly, but the enemies are kind of a pain. So from the bonfire we can go straight ahead, and there are cells all over the place, um, like this one, and pick this up, and then you get screamed at, and then there's stuff that wants to hurt you, like that guy. I wasn't sure what was going on whenever I heard that scream, but um, that was him, I assume. But there are cell doors that you can open, and then cell doors that are locked. If you see anything good, then it's probably locked. But this guy is one of the most annoying guys that I've fought so far. He will look at you, and your health will not just go down, but your maximum health will go down. So they can basically get it down to a sliver of health, so that if you get hit by anything, you die. And then if you pick this up, you're gonna get pushed, like so. But that's okay, because there's something down here you want to get anyway. If you go back here, there is this enemy that you can open up the cell to, and this is one of the ones that put the maggots or whatever they are on you and cause bleed. So just take care of this enemy, and you will end up getting rewarded for doing so. That's a great magic shield, so you get a little bit of a reward, and then this ends up taking you kinda to where you need to be anyway, so just follow the linear path and be aware that there are going to be enemies to your right and cells and stuff like that. There's also some items in some of the cells, like so, but this will also attract enemies, but that is an entire armor set, so it's pretty good. I'm not going to use it, but you can. I believe in you guys. Oh, yeah. take out these guys, and then we'll get back on track. And you can really just run past all these enemies. They are nothing major or anything like that. So this is one of the locked ones. We'll get to that in a second. Not a second, but in a little bit. There is an enemy hiding in the corner here. So do the circle dance and then kill it. And then pick up the item. And then be aware that there's an enemy in the corner there that will cause your health to completely go away, basically. So kind of charge and then watch out for the cage enemies. You can kill them or you can run past them. I run past them because it takes me too long to kill those things. But whenever you get up the stairs, you will end up hanging right to look there and see nothing, and then hang left to actually move. So we're back up on that path that we got knocked off of whenever we got pushed. So if you make it past that enemy without getting pushed, then that's where you'll end up, is where these two, I think they're called jailers, end up. So you can cross this bridge, and then there's that door which is locked, and then there is an enemy straight ahead, a jailer, who will eat away your health like all the other jailers. So there's a little cubby off to the left that you can get in with just normal enemies. I think that the general rule of thumb is that if they can see you, they can take your health away. If they can't see you, if you break the line of sight, then you should be okay. But this kind of takes you to a area where you can get to the other side of that gate. Just be aware that there is an enemy on the wall right there. Kind of looks like a giant golem, basically. So, Lord of the Rings. So open up this cell door, and then if you hang a left, and then hang another left, you can open up that door so that you don't have to run by that jailer. And then I missed this my first time through, but if you run straight ahead, then you will end up being able to open this and picking up an item. So that's the jailbreaker's key. So it's a pretty important item. I don't remember what it does. I don't know why I'm saying that's important. It opens something. You're welcome. I actually died here too because there are a couple of these enemies in here. So there's that one, and then there is the one that you can see right in front of you, and they actually do a lot of damage with the branding weapon that they have. So they will hit you, and then if they hit you, they will basically hit you like 8 more times. You can't really evade too well. But I forgot about this one, and you can see how my health kind of went down. So it goes down pretty quick once they get their eyes on you. So it can get kind of frustrating trying to avoid that. After going through the area a few times, you kind of get the idea of what the technique is to avoid that. But so after clearing the area, picking up those simple gems, this door over here is going to be locked. We'll unlock it here in a second, and then we're just going to make a beeline here, and there is a crystal wizard. You will be getting attacked from the left, so you can take out that enemy so that it'll stop hitting you. But after you take out that enemy, there's nothing in that cell, so we can go straight ahead through the doorway, and there is going to be an item there to pick up, which is Homeward Bone. And then once you get here, just go ahead and run straight ahead. I assumed that something was coming after me from behind. but it wasn't because somebody left that message. So I'm actually going to check the door that I just told you was locked because I hadn't actually checked the door. So yeah, you can ignore that part. Just run back if you were following me to a T. I don't think that that's how it works most of the time, but you can't open this up and kill this enemy, so that's up to you. I thought that there would be more going on in here, but there's not. So don't worry about that. It's up to you if you want to kill that thing. Once you open it, it is open, so it can attack you, even after you die again. But once you get to this point, you can run straight ahead, and I thought like there was going to be a boulder coming after me. No, it's just another one of these enemies. So you have like 3 of these enemies right here. And one of them comes up from behind, so if you kind of mosey along, it'll probably hit you from behind before you even get to the spot with the enemies. And then in the doorway there is a mimic right here, and this is probably the best mimic in the game because of what it drops. Which is an Estus shard. So go ahead and take this one out. I actually ran past it because I didn't want to die the first time I ran through, but he does drop an Estus shard, so totally worth it. And then this is my first time through actually, so the mimic's still there. But you can run ahead, and then this room has quite a few enemies in it, but they're all basic, so nothing major. Some of them have crossbows, so you're going to be getting hit from a distance too. So just take them out in groups. They kind of make it easy for you by putting them in groups like that. They kind of just hang out with each other and then separate. But there are quite a few of them, so if you let them hit you like that, then you can end up dead pretty quick. And I've learned that that's bad, so I'm going to stop trying to do that so much. So hopefully less transitions in my videos, but probably not. And then there's one that's kind of just like hanging back. He thinks he's like Billy Bad Booty, like the other guy from one of my other videos. But there's 2 paths you can take from here, and they kind of lead to the same area, basically. But it's 2 paths. So you can take this guy out, and there's an item back in the corner that you can clearly see. And souls are always good. So you can drop down here, take a little bit of damage, but you can drop down there. And then the other option is to take this ladder, and it will take you to a gate, and the gate leads to a giant that's sleeping. So you can attack this giant, although the armor makes it so that if you attack this giant, it doesn't do much damage. So you can hold off on that because we will be down by its feet, and you'll do a little bit more damage down there anyway, and it's easier to evade the attacks and everything. So you can hit the giant and it will get up, and then you can run to the other side of the area to get to the next area. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop down from the opening that I showed you, because I've always wanted to drop down from a helicopter and attack enemies, and this is as close as I'm going to get. So you can run along this rubble here towards the item there, and you can kind of see where we are in relation to where that ladder took us. Just keep going until you can pick that up, which is a pickaxe, and then some rats right there. This walkway here has a ladder at the end that will take you to the other side of the giant, but if you drop down, there are quite a few rats, and the rats actually basically keep spawning for a while. I don't know how long or if there is like a time when it stops, but the giant will start attacking you too, so apparently you woke it up and that made it mad. So you can evade and kill the rats. The rats aren't that big of a deal, obviously. Just pick up your items. The giant does do a lot of damage, but if you can get into this pathway, there is actually a shortcut using this elevator. It will take you back to the bonfire that we um, were first at whenever we entered the dungeon. So um, that is always good to have shortcuts. So go ahead and open the gate and see the bonfire right in front of you. So now we have a little bit of a shortcut so we don't have to deal with the jailers at least. So that is fantastic news for me. So go ahead and head back down if you rested. Obviously the rats are back. If you killed them or not, whatever. Um, if you kill the giant, I don't think the giant comes back, so that's up to you. So anyway, back to the main path we go. So I'm gonna pick this item up here and avoid the giant that I haven't killed yet, and then we'll just go up these stairs, and you can see that there is a chest in the corner, and once again it is a mimic. They are just all over the place in this dungeon. So this is kind of a close quarters area to be fighting the mimic in. Just make sure that you are dodging the grab attack and all that stuff. Do not try to go back outside to have more space, because then you have the giant stepping on you too. But you can pick up the item that it drops, and then there is a ladder right here to climb up, and there are a couple of ways to go once you get to the top of the ladder. So whenever you get up there, there's going to be a path to the right, and it is going to lead to a platform. So you can go into the left in a window, or you can run and jump across and pick up those items first. Um, One thing I do not recommend is trying to drop down on the giant, because I tried that and I fell to my death, and it was frustrating because I hadn't fallen to my death in like 3 minutes. I was doing so great. But you go in through the window and you remember this room with all the enemies in it. So be aware, depending on what window you come through, you are going to end up with a bunch of enemies around you. So I think maybe coming in through the window I went through was probably not the best idea, but they are all bunched up, and I forgot that they had bolt crossbows, bow and arrows, crossbows, bolt and arrows is what I was gonna say. But yeah, take them out, and then we will end up going back to the bridge that we fell off of to get to the shortcut. But we're gonna do it a different way this time. So we're gonna head back, kind of like to the window that we um, came through, except for right here there is a drop off where you can land right next to the giant that is sleeping. You cannot go through the window, I tried to jump through the window. I don't know why. I thought it would look more cooler even. But whenever you drop down there the first time, there is a um, crystal wizard with something for you. So, alright, so instead of dropping off this bridge now, we are going to go across and go through this sewer area. And there's some of the rats that I already killed. And then here comes some more rats. You know, they're just rats. It's not even the big rats yet. If you go through this area, that is where the big rats show up, because where there's little rats, there's always big rats. So you can go that way here in a second. But what we want to do is, this is a dead end, but you can see that there's this item here. So pick up that item, and then if you come back here, there are some chests. I think there's 2 of them. And of course there's a mimic involved, so I don't see any messages, so I am not sure, but I am going to hit it just in case. So the good thing about this one is that I've noticed whenever these ones come up, where they're down on all fours, I don't find them as difficult to kill. If they do grab you, it's still significant damage, but not as bad. So kill that one and then pick up the item, and then check this one. That's just a normal chest. I haven't seen that in a long time. So that's the old cell key. That's going to come in handy for side missions. I'll explain that in a second, but you can see that we got ambushed by the cursed enemies, like from Farron Keep. So you can just kind of run past them, and usually only 1 or 2 will follow you, and then make your way down here. And like I said, there are 2 giant rats here, so that's it, and then that item. But that old cell key that you just picked up, if you save the NPC from the well and met with him at the Estes Soup, then that will be the key that opens up the cell that he is in at the end, and he actually helps you fight one of the bosses that are coming up if you free him from the cell. So this next area is kind of tricky. So what you kind of want to do is stay to the left here. This room is full of jailers who just instantly drain your health, and there's too many of them to just charge. So if you go to the left and you come here, you kind of see this row of people who are just sitting there, and this is a reference to a gesture that I haven't gotten yet, so I'm not sure if you've gotten it, but if you come up this elevator, and you can see there's an item there. We'll get that on the way down, but if you come up this elevator, then you can hang a right, and there's this item, and you could grab that real quick, and then this opens up the shortcut back towards the beginning of the dungeon, where there were cage enemies and some jailers. So if you remember, that area is that long stretch before you go outside. So go back down, and I didn't pick up the item this time, but there is a platform for you to drop down on, and you can pick that up. I think it's a spell or something. So and then I'm going to transition, because I ran around for a little bit trying to figure out what gesture it was, but I haven't gotten it yet. So you actually get that gesture from beating one of the bosses. I have not beat that boss yet. But you can see ahead how many jailers there are, and they are all right next to each other, so kind of difficult to do any kind of finessing your way around. So if you come in here, there's a bunch of those golem looking enemies. I can't remember how many there are, but there's at least like 4 or 5 of them. So just take them out, and then there's some items. I think one of those might have been a drop from the enemy, but They're right next to each other, so it doesn't matter. If you see 2 items, pick up 2 items. If you see 1, pick up 1. So, once you pick those up, there are some enemies that are kind of hidden pretty well. I think I end up getting attacked after I open this. And then I actually did this wrong, so I'm going to transition. Because what you kind of want to do is if you walk really slow, you won't attract attention. But I also ran past this chest and opened up this gate first. And there are some items in there that I picked up and I didn't record because I am such a noob at the YouTube. But there are items in here and I didn't want to leave them out because I think that there might have been something cool in there. But you saw that chest there, and surprise, surprise, guys, it's a mimic. I know, right? Like, seriously, Dark Souls, like, just full of surprises at this point. I'm hitting every chest that I see because it's like 90% mimic at this point. But what I did was after opening up this area, I kind of came in here to fight it just to make sure that the jailers didn't get attention drawn to them, I guess, or my attention, or they didn't see me. So kill that, pick up the Titanite scale, and then I made a beeline for the back of the room. So you can do that. There's some stuff in the middle that I picked up too on my way. You could tell that I died, but basically I ran past all these guys, and you can tell this is where I opened up the thing actually. So this is kind of out of order, but I picked that up, and then there's this item, and then you can see how low they can get your health, and I just kind of ran away. Because we're almost to the next area. There is an NPC that is back in that room with all the jailers, but I'm going to include that in the next video because you cannot do anything for her yet, but once we get what we need, we can free her and she will be at Firelink Shrine for us. So just pick up the item there, and then we're going to cross this bridge. And if you think that you're going to cross this bridge with no problems, you got another thing coming. And that thing coming is an enemy with some wings and what looks like a dentist drill. So I hope you're not afraid of the dentist or gargoyles. I guess that's a gargoyle, it looks like one. Anyway, so this one will fly and has a lot of thrusting attacks that it does, and it will use its wings as a shield and then hit you with it, and if it hits you doing that, it is pretty powerful. And you can see that I evaded it because I am so good. I'm gonna actually just cut that out of the video and make one video of that. It's gonna be like a 4-second video. But once you get rid of that enemy, you can run across the bridge here, and once you get to the edge, there is a ladder you can climb down, and it took me forever to figure out what was going on because it seemed a little redundant, but you're going to go down this ladder, down the ladder, and then you are going to run to another ladder and go up the ladder, and then there is a bonfire. And then we will go ahead and say that this video is done. We will go to the Profane Capital in a different video, and we will go get that NPC here in a second. Ooh, Undead Bone Shard, that's good. That's another area down. We're almost done, guys. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And as always, stay nerdy.